This car right here is a 2022 Volkswagen Virtus GT and I'm going to review it. I'm going to show you around the exterior, the interior, the boot, the engine and talk with the owner before delivering my final verdict on the Virtus GT. So stay tuned because I'm Shyam Anand and this is Hyper Automobiles. The design of the Virtus GT is definitely understated and it's also been jazzed up with a generous amount of chrome all around the car. You also get full LED headlamps and tail lamps for all variants of the Virtus. The bonnet has also been shaped really very well to help with the aggressive look of the car. The air dam, as you can see, is huge to provide the crazy engine under the hood with a lot of air, which we'll get to later on in the video. From the side of the car, the Virtus GT looks raised because it indeed is. With 179mm of ground clearance, it is one of the best in class. Now, as this is a GT variant, you get blacked out alloy wheels, which look really very nice. And as for the tire size, you get 205/55 R16s as standard and you cannot upsize them any further. A bit of a shame is that you get disc brakes at the front and drums at the back. With such a feature loaded car, it would have been good to get discs at the rear too. Coming to the back of the car, a good amount of chrome treatment on the rear bumper, blacked out LED tail lamps and a small blacked out boot lip rear spoiler that you get for the GT variant really do cover up on what is a quite bulky rear end. It's time to jump into the interior of the car. Now, moving on to the interior of the VW Virtus GT, I must say that the elegantly laid out dash along with the integrated ambient lighting and the extensive gloss black treatment that you get for the GT variant is something that I really like very much. You get a 10-inch infotainment system that is really very responsive, and as for the instrument cluster, you get a completely digital 8-inch instrument cluster. Now, while these are really good, there are also a fair bit of plastics that give away the cost cutting of the car. Something that I don't really like that much are the climate controls being completely touch enabled. They are just a little bit fiddly to use when on the move. However, though, the multifunctional steering wheel you get has physical controls and you also get paddle shifters for the manual mode of the gearbox. As for myself, I have just about enough headroom in this height of the seat. Yes, I'm saying that because you can change the height of the seat manually using a lever down below. The seats are ventilated and are really very comfortable too. Now, coming to the practicality at the front, you have a very wide opening and deep glove box which can store a lot. I have my 1 liter Hyper water bottle here with me to test out the front door bins. So the door bins at the front can fit a 1 liter bottle at absolute ease. However, though, the twin cup holders behind the gear lever can only fit relatively smaller sized cups. You get a wireless charging pad, a vanity mirror for the passenger but not for the driver, a one-panel electric glass sunroof, and finally, the center armrest with quite a bit of storage. Now, there's a fair bit of chance that you would be chauffeured around in this car. So on that note, getting into the rear seats is fairly simple enough with the doors opening pretty wide. As you can see, I have a healthy amount of headroom. I have loads of knee room and loads of leg room. And that doesn't come as much of a surprise because the Virtus clearly has the longest wheelbase in its segment. Also, as you can see, the middle seat does get an adjustable headrest, which is unlike most of the cars in its segment. Now, I'm 5'9" and I'm going to try to fit myself over here. So now I can feel that the headroom is a little bit compromised. Although my knee room is good, but my leg room is again compromised. The hump too is not that high even by sedan standards. Now, coming to the practicality, at the rear you have grab handles, 2 reading lights, a center foldable armrest with 2 cup holders, and the door bins, I must say, are huge. They can fit 1 liter water bottles just like at the front. That's crazy. You have 2 air vents and 2 USB-C ports for charging your devices. Finally, the seat pockets behind the driver's and the front passenger's seats are very deep. Now, it's time to get on with the boot of the car. Coming to the boot of the Virtus GT, you get a segment-leading massive 521 liter boot space. The scratch plates are placed quite inwards, so the paint is a little vulnerable while loading things in. Now, moving on to the engine of the Virtus GT. Yes, I say GT because this has the most powerful engine of the whole lot with a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder petrol engine that outputs a mega 148 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. That is crazy by this segment standards. As for the GT, this engine is paired only to a 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox that delivers super quick shifts with a sport mode and a set of paddle shifters. Other than this engine option, you also get a 1-liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder petrol engine that outputs 114 horsepower and 178 Newton meters of torque. And the 3-cylinder engine is either paired to a manual transmission or an automatic torque converter.
The engine is really smooth yet quite powerful. It's a 1.5-liter DSG gearbox engine. So I mean, it gives you the best in segment comfort, the enormous torque, that goes with the engine. So I must say, overall, it is a very a wonderful driving experience. And it's not just built for the highways; it's built for city roads as well. I've had this car for the last 9 months now, and I've clocked around 4,500 kilometers, and it's been an incredible journey. So it's I think the best in terms of luxury, in terms of power, and it's an amazing vehicle overall.
Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan. Now moving on to the final verdict of the VW Virtus GT. So primarily the GT line gets a DQ200 gearbox. Now the DQ200 gearbox is a dry clutch compared to, let's say, the DQ250, which is a wet clutch. So it being a dry clutch means that there is less amount of cooling for the clutch and hence results in a shorter lifespan. Now DQ200s are usually engineered for a little less than 50k kilometers, and after that, however, they start shooting problems like there's no tomorrow. Also, I think that VW should improve the build quality of the Virtus to make it that much better. It's not all negative though, with it getting a 521-liter massive boot space along with the highest power output in its segment. Also, driving dynamics wise, it has great high-speed stability and its handling is also very sharp. That's what we think about the car. Let us know what you think about the Volkswagen Virtus GT down in the comments below. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel because it's going to be really helpful to us. And come on, it's just a button. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.